Hey there everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, but I have a quick question to ask you. Do you want to learn how to capture the hearts and minds of every single person you talk to? Alright, well, admittedly, I can't teach you all that, but I can help get you started by sharing some essential strategies for building powerful marketing messaging that motivates buyers. Today, we're going to cover some really effective messaging techniques that not only drive sales, but build meaningful connections with your customers. Then, we're going to talk about how you can use all this stuff in your marketing to grow your business. So stay tuned, it's going to be jam-packed, we got a lot to cover. I'm Nathan Disk, your strategy sidekick, and with that out of the way, let's jump into it. So I probably don't have to tell you this, but there is a ton of noise out there in the market. Everywhere you look, there seems to be an ad, whether it's a billboard, a streaming platform, radio, print, TV, social media, it's everywhere. This can make it feel impossible to stand out from it all. And if you're a small business owner, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't have a huge advertising budget, it can feel so hard sometimes to just get your audience to listen. And even if they do listen, get them to take meaningful action. Well, the reality of it is advertising is more accessible than ever before. Anyone can just take 5 minutes out of their day, spin up a Meta account, and reach millions of people. So yeah, there's a lot of noise in the market, but on the bright side, it has never been easier to reach your audience. But the key to making your voice heard above all the chatter isn't just about reaching the right people. It's about connecting with them in a meaningful way. And effective marketing messaging does exactly that. It cuts through the clutter with precision and relevance, ensuring your message not only reaches the right people, but resonates with them deeply. And in today's digitized age, where attention spans are dwindling by the minute, effective messaging has never been more important to any modern business. So what does good, captivating messaging even look like? Well, on its surface level, it's messaging that speaks directly to a consumer's needs, desires, and pain points. It's about being clear, concise, and compelling, using the right words to evoke emotion and provoke action. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about. But first, we have to cover a harsh reality, and that is that nobody cares about your business. Yep, that's right. I said it. It might be hard to hear, but it's true. And people won't start to care about your business until they realize that you can add value to their lives. And until you realize this, it's going to be hard to craft good messaging. Look, people have their own lives to live and their own problems to worry about, and that's okay. You don't have the energy to worry about everything all the time either. But what people do respond to is the value that you can offer them. Until you can communicate that, you'll just be a part of the noise that people have to constantly sift through on a daily basis. Just knowing this will put a lot of the stuff we talk about in perspective, especially as we talk about storytelling and marketing, which leads me nicely into my next segment. If you've been around sales or marketing for a while, you've probably heard how important storytelling is in your messaging. Maybe you've heard it phrased as creating a Pixar pitch or some other kind of storytelling sales tactic. And while that is true, storytelling is incredibly important, it's often misinterpreted. The most common misinterpretation being that businesses think telling a story is maybe telling a story about how their brand was founded or the idea behind their products and services that they sell. I see it all the time. Businesses are too focused on themselves and telling their own founder story. And while sure, maybe your business has a unique story, in fact, most businesses do, that's not what's going to get you sales. Remember, people will only start to care about you when they realize that you can bring them value. Because on a surface level, doing business is simply just an exchange of value. With that in mind, let's dig into how you can use storytelling to create captivating and compelling messaging. And to start, we're going to take it from the ground up by examining what actually makes a good story good. So, we're going to analyze the foundational structure that has shaped the most popular stories throughout history, from ancient Greek tragedies to modern Pixar movies. This foundational storytelling structure usually unfolds as follows. Once upon a time, a character is introduced, setting the stage for the narrative. Then one day, this character encounters a problem, which propels the story forward and creates the plot. Because of that, this character is thrust into turmoil, beginning their quest for a solution. Along the way, they generally encounter a guide who advises them with help or creates a plan with them. This guide then inspires the character to take decisive action, which leads to a resolution. Ultimately, the character either achieves success or, in some cases, faces failure. If you remember all your English classes, this might sound familiar. If not, it might sound a little bit generic. So, to illustrate it in a context you may be more familiar with, we can analyze the popular Pixar movie Finding Nemo to see how the story elements align there. Hopefully you guys have seen it, We like to keep it family friendly around here, but this is how it goes. The story starts off with Marlin, a cautious clownfish, being introduced and setting up his protective nature. The plot thickens when Marlin's son Nemo is captured by some fishermen. Distressed, Marlin embarks on a perilous journey to get his son back. Along the way, he meets Dory, an unlikely guide whose quirky wisdom and encouragement are invaluable to Marlin. Dory constantly motivates Marlin with her mantra, "Just keep swimming," pushing him to persevere on his quest. In the end, Marlin's relentless effort pays off, leading to a joyous reunion with his son Nemo. This storytelling structure is a powerful tool, evident in nearly every popular film or story told. But don't just take my word for it. Next time you're watching the movie, observe how closely the plot adheres to this structure. You'll likely find that the most compelling stories follow the same narrative arc. It has been proven to capture attention and elicit engagement since the dawn of man. It's used because it works, and it works because people can connect with it. So now you may be thinking, great, I know how to craft a compelling story. But how does that relate to marketing? Well, this framework resonates with people so well because it's the nature of the human condition. People are living out their own stories, and they encounter problems and needs along the way. These problems could be big, like needing to find a job to put food on the table, or they could be small, like feeling like your shirts never fit properly. Regardless, problems exist and people are out there seeking solutions. Every problem or need someone encounters is its own plot in the storyline of life. And this is where we as marketers can step in and help the consumers with their quest. By positioning ourselves as the guide to help the consumer with their problems, we can invite ourselves into their story. The key distinction being that you're not the main character of the story, they are. And each customer has their own story in which they are the hero. So how do we invite ourselves into the customer's story? Well, we do this by crafting messaging that comes from a place of value. First, we need to identify the problems our customers have and empathize with them. To truly empathize with our customers, it's crucial to deeply understand their experiences and feelings. Not just the superficial issues they face, but the underlying emotions that drive their decisions and behaviors. This connection fosters a more genuine and meaningful relationship, positioning us not just as vendors, but as partners in their journey. This means you got to start by figuring out what problems your product or service solves. Then identify how those problems make the consumer feel. Does it make them feel sad, lonely, frustrated maybe? Well, use that language in your messaging to let people know that you understand. To put it simply, people want their problems to be heard. It's the nature of being social creatures. So that is what's going to get you attention. Once people are listening, we need to clearly articulate how our product or service can help solve these problems. It's about showing and not necessarily just telling. We want to put an image of what their life could look like when they become the hero using your product or service. You can do this through customer testimonials, before and after scenarios, and real-life examples that highlight the transformation your solution offers. Next, we must communicate our unique value proposition. What makes our solution different and better than others on the market? This part of the story should be emphasizing the benefits that directly address the customer's needs and aspirations, making the choice clear and compelling. This part is about solidifying our position as a trusted guide. So anything that will ease the customer's mind is a powerful tool at this stage. Lastly, we want to give the customer a plan of action so they can solve their problems and become the hero. In the marketing world, this means using strong, clear calls to action, and could mean simplifying the process of engaging with your product or service. This could mean through a user-friendly website, a straightforward purchasing process, or providing excellent customer support to guide them with every step of the way. Remember, we want to be helpful, so the act of receiving the help should be as easy as possible. See, by inviting ourselves into the customer's story and positioning us as the guide, we not only help solve their immediate problems, but we build a long-lasting relationship built on trust and value. And this is the essence of effective marketing storytelling. Making the consumer the hero and us their trusted advisor to help them with their challenges and help them achieve their goals. Donald Miller does a great job conceptualizing this in his book, Building a Story Brand. So make sure you check that out if you want more in-depth views. Hopefully that gives you a bit better understanding of what storytelling in marketing actually means and the value that that framework has to offer. Positioning your brand as the guide who understands your consumers will not only help you cut through the clutter and be heard, but build a relationship based on what matters, which is value. So let's move on to talk about what this looks like as it relates to your messaging strategy. And that includes running paid ads. To do this, we're going to work in the concept of the marketing funnel. So if you're unclear of what that is, make sure you go check out our other video, Mastering the Marketing Funnel. Luckily enough for us, incorporating the storytelling framework aligns perfectly with the structure of the marketing funnel, which guides users from the initial awareness of your brand to a purchase decision and beyond. Let's start by looking at the top of the funnel, or the awareness stage. Since our focus is on getting people into the funnel and aware of your brand, here your messaging should aim to capture attention. In this phase, it's not necessarily about selling, it's about empathizing and positioning yourself as the guide. Begin by introducing a narrative that highlights a common problem or need that your brand addresses. Focus on really empathizing with your audience, really connecting with their pain points. Then, clearly outline how your product or service tackles these initial concerns. As the buyer enters the consideration stage, your storytelling should become more detailed. This is the point where you begin to explicitly introduce your solution. Elaborate on how your product or service uniquely and effectively solves the problem at hand. Finally, when trying to close the sale at the bottom of the funnel, your messaging should focus on alleviating any concerns and giving them a plan of action. Here, the story should be tailored to reassure the customer of their decision and showing how easy it is to take action. Highlight the success and satisfaction of others who have made the same choice, emphasizing the value and benefits, and alleviating any last-minute concerns with guarantees, supportive customer service stories, or even targeted promotions. Most importantly, you want to ensure the path that you want the consumer to take is clear. Make sure you have clear calls to action and a seamless purchase experience. Remember, the less confusion, the more likely they are to follow through. By weaving storytelling in at each stage in the marketing funnel, you not only make your message more engaging, but also more effective. It allows you to follow the customer's journey with personalized messaging that actually resonates with them. This should really be the basis of your messaging strategy. And as far as the specific tactics you use to reach your audience, well, that's kind of going to be up to you and your business's unique situation. But regardless, by taking this problem-solution style of approach in your messaging, you will not only stand out, but reach your customers on a deeper level. A business that I've seen that does a really good job of this is True Classic Tees. Hopefully you've seen their ads. I feel like they're everywhere. But they built a lot of success off using this framework, even for something as simplistic and common as a plain t-shirt. Almost every single one of their ads that I've seen starts out depicting someone who looks gross and feels gross because their t-shirts just don't quite fit right. But that shows that they understand the problem. Then they talk about how their product solves this problem. It's tighter around the sleeves or whatever. And lastly, they talk about what the consumer's life would look like if they didn't have this problem. And they usually give an image of, someone in a True Classic tee who's looking good, feeling good, and so on. It's as simple as that, but they hit on all the major points. They identify what the problem was and how it makes the consumer feel. Then they talked about how their product solves the problem. And lastly, they showed an image of what someone's life could look like if they didn't have that problem. Easy as that. They always use some additional humor in their ads, but that's not always necessary, as long as the core message is there. Don't overcomplicate it, and jamming all this into one ad can sometimes be tough. So use the marketing funnel to your advantage and personalize your messaging as users travel through it and their journey with your brand. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I'll link one of their ads in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. All right, so before I leave you to go put all this into action yourself, I want to reiterate a few points. The first one being that, remember, people will only start to listen once they know you can add value to their lives. So this is key to your messaging, and empathizing with people's problems and offering solutions is what really is going to get you attention. Secondly, remember, you are not the main character of the story. Your customer is. You are just the humble guide to help them along the way. So always position your brand that way. Show them that they can trust you and that you're going to help them become the hero of their story. Lastly, clarity is king. I've seen so many marketing messages get lost in trying to be witty or funny. All that stuff is unimportant at the end of the day. What's important is ensuring your message is clear and that your customers know exactly what actions you want them to take next. That means clear calls to action and a smooth purchase process. If you follow these tips and use data-driven insights to adjust your approach continuously, you'll be sure to sell more. Hey, if you want more marketing tips like this, make sure you subscribe and like the video. And if you want personalized marketing help, hop on over to strategysidekick.com. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.